All right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to another Friday weekly recap. It's been a kind of a wild week, not only for crypto, but pretty busy for myself as well. But we are gonna kind of go over what happened this whole week. We did see quite a bit of volatility. I was saying last Friday that we could probably expect that. Because we did have the FOMC meeting coming up this Wednesday. And I also talked a little bit about the Japanese, the yen carry trade last weekend or last Friday, because we did see last Friday that cut. So we are going to get into a few things surrounding all of that, guys. But before we do, really quick, we're going to jump over here. This is Chicken Butt Microsanctuary, guys. These guys, this is probably the last video I will make that is really spotlighting these guys. If you guys can, please go over and help them out. They've got PayPal, Venmo, and Patreon. Anything financially that you donate to them, they are a 501c, so it is a tax write-off. If there isn't anything that you can donate financially, even just $1 or $2, just go over to their socials and give them a like. Really helps out with their algorithm and ends up helping out these animals as well. So go over and help them out. Always appreciated on my end. Okay, so the first thing that happened, guys, was actually Sunday night. We ended up started crashing as far as Bitcoin's price anyway, Sunday night. And it was very reminiscent of, probably, I think it was back in August when we had that horrible Sunday night. And it was the Japanese yen carry trade unwinding. And guys, I kind of said this, hopefully there's not a delayed effect. So when this started happening, I did go back and look at kind of the time frame of how long it took for the Japanese yen carry trade to really unwind like we saw. And it was, again, there was a bit of a delay in August. I think the Bank of Japan had cut rates, or hiked rates rather, 3 or 4 days before this started unwinding. Now it was a bit of a different time frame this time, because I think in August they cut in on, it was a Wednesday that they cut, and this time they cut on a Friday. But nevertheless, we still saw that kind of unwind on Sunday night here. It was a Monday morning in Japan. However, that was not the narrative that came out, guys. The narrative that came out was actually related to Deepseek. And Deepseek, what Deepseek is it's an AI platform, very much like Google's AI or OpenAI's ChatGPT. But the reason this was so disruptive, well, there's a few reasons this was so disruptive. They came out and they said that they basically did this with a fraction of the cost that ChatGPT and Google and X and Meta and all of these other platforms have done it for. They've spent billions and billions on training their AI. Deepseek came out and said that they did it for not billions, but just like 6 million was all that it took for them to do this. So that was huge. They also said that they were using chips, not the top quality chips that NVIDIA is selling for these AI applications. They've actually been able to do it with a lower chip. I believe it was still an NVIDIA chip, but it was not their top processing chip that they've been selling for AI applications. So all that aside, guys, there's another big thing that a lot of people aren't mentioning, and why this is so disruptive towards OpenAI and Google and Meta and X with Grok and their AI. And that reason is that Deepseek is an open source. So you can actually get into the code, you can modify it and use it for yourself. You can modify it in any way. The community is going to come around this and start modifying it. It'll make it a lot better. And it's open source, so you can see the code and you can tell what that company, Deepseek, is actually doing. So when, in America, where we have all these companies using closed source to develop their AI, not only does that kind of centralize their AI, because they're the only ones that can modify it, that can use it basically. And it just, Deepseek going open source is more disruptive than I think a lot of people are giving it credit for. And it's probably a big reason why these US companies are throwing a lot of shade at Deepseek, because they want to control AI. They want it to be centralized with them owning the keys, basically. And this is another reason why I don't think this was actually the number one cause of Bitcoin's decline. Yes, it was a narrative, so obviously there was some effect there, but open source succeeding, it not only decentralizes AI a whole lot more, but guys, Bitcoin is open source itself. So if anything, I think this supports Bitcoin. It supports the decentralization network or narrative. And, obviously these American companies hate it because they want control. They want, they don't want you to see the algorithms, and here's the thing. We've all been, at least I have, using ChatGPT and some of these AIs. I kind of do this reluctantly because I know I can't trust these companies. They've completely betrayed our trust in the past, and they continually do so. And they do so by utilizing this closed source code that they control. So when I see an open source project like Deepseek, I naturally gravitate towards that because I believe there's more trust in somebody that will open up the books and show you the code on what's going on. So that's why NVIDIA and some of these other stocks plummeted, worst crash in history for NVIDIA. I think it was the worst single day crash for any single stock. I think they lost, it basically evaporated almost $600 billion worth in just NVIDIA stock that day. Since it's kind of rebounded, but Deepseek definitely deeply affects NVIDIA. It affects Meta. It affects Google and these other companies that are banking on closed source AI. What it doesn't do is it doesn't much affect Bitcoin outside of the narrative that maybe tech's crashing, so Bitcoin should be crashing too, right? So let's sell our Bitcoin. I think people who did that were a little misguided. We'll call it that. But ultimately, I think open source AI supports the open source Bitcoin narrative as well. So really, I think the biggest thing that affected Bitcoin that Sunday night was probably the yen carry trade kind of unwinding, guys. So I do want to jump over to a few things here. If I can get this set up for you guys. Here we go. So as you can see here, it says NVIDIA stock plunge, investors panic as Deepseek disrupts. That was absolutely the entire narrative. There was no reporting on the Japanese yen and the carry trade. It was just all about Deepseek on Monday, which, again, guys, I kind of disagree with. I do want to jump over here again, guys, to Dante. This guy's been kind of batting 1,000 in my opinion. He kind of goes over the whole Deepseek thing again, and then he gets into this. So listen into this.
But let's get off Deepseek for a little bit. What was happening in the markets is part of a much bigger and larger trade happening worldwide, the global yen carry trade. The Japanese yen carry trade involves borrowing money in the Japanese yen, a low interest currency, and investing that money in higher yielding assets. This has typically been the dollar and US stocks. This trade takes advantage of rate differentials in countries and jurisdictions around the world. But yesterday, the Bank of Japan raised rates to the highest levels that it's been in 17 years, and rates that we haven't seen since 2008. When they raised the interest rates from 0.25% to 0.5%. So what does this mean for the $4 trillion global yen carry trade? Well, this means that when the borrowing costs or the cost of the yen rises, that people will begin to sell off the other assets that they had in order to pay back their loans. This is likely the reason that we saw deep market sell-offs yesterday, not Deepseek. And while the market...
So again, guys, this guy is about the only other person besides what I was thinking at the time that really reported on this. And I don't know why that is, other than mainstream media definitely flooded the media with the Deepseek narrative. But that aside, guys, either way, it happened. We did dip Sunday night, and just as I kind of expected, Monday morning, stocks sold off and Bitcoin started to recover, just like in August when we had that sell-off from the yen carry trade back then. Okay, so the next thing, Wednesday, we saw the FOMC had their rate decision. Again, it was pretty much 100%. It was at like 99.5% chance on the Fed Watch tool that we would not see a rate change, that we would start pausing here. But the big surprise here came in the form of a question to Jerome Powell at the FOMC press conference. And it was actually the very last question asked at that press conference. I do want to show you guys that. But yeah, just listen into this and we'll go over it after you listen.
Go to Mark for the last question.
Hello, Chairman Powell. Mark Hamrick with Bankrate. As you know, in the annual report from the Financial Stability Oversight Council, among the risks outlined is cryptocurrency. Could you talk about those risks now? And regarding individuals and households, perhaps distinct from the concern about the financial system, do you worry that speculation in this unregulated asset class could hurt their financial well-being, or do you think it has a place in a household's portfolio?
So our role with Bitcoin really is to look at, with crypto, really is to look at the banks, and we think it's, banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks, and it's safe and sound. As a good number of our banks that we regulate and supervise do that. The threshold has been a little higher for banks engaging in crypto activities, and that's because they're so new. And we don't want to make the mistake. If you're making a choice to conduct that activity inside a bank, which is inside the federal safety net,
inside a
with
bank,
deposit insurance, then you want to be pretty sure that it's a safe and sound activity. So, we're not against innovation, and we certainly don't want to take actions that would cause banks to terminate customers who are perfectly legal just because of excess risk aversion, maybe related to regulation and supervision. So,
with respect,
okay, so of note there, guys, we see the reporter that comes in and is just like very, very negative, towards crypto and Bitcoin, and saying how, if Jerome Powell worries that people are gonna, really screw over their financials with Bitcoin. The surprising part is Jerome Powell flipped completely 180 on this. During the entire Biden administration, we are starting to see, and this is probably why he played this way, but we are starting to see companies come out and say that the Federal Reserve, as well as the FDIC, and several other things, have told banks not to bank crypto companies. This is what choke point 2.0 was, right? And so we're finally seeing some clarity that actually was happening. And so, you see Jerome Powell here kind of fidget and completely flip from what they've been saying and what they've been doing the past 4 years. And he does so in a very casual way, like it's always been our opinion that investing in Bitcoin is okay, and we're not going to debank people just because we're very pro innovation. I think he knows he's in the hot seat. I think the FOMC knows that this information is coming out, and they feel that heat. So he's obviously kind of backtracking now. But the funny part is he says, Bitcoin's safe as long as you do it through our institutions. Don't self-custody it yourself. It's much riskier, do it with somebody who's insured. Again, guys, going back to my last video, back in the 80s, when we had the savings and loan scandal, all of those loans and mortgages were backed by federal insurance that quickly dried up when that crash happened. So for Jerome Powell to tout this whole insurance thing is a little forgetful of history. It's a narrative that they want you to believe. Trust the system. Trust the system. Just kind of mind-blowing, but actually pretty bullish for Bitcoin, because now officially the Federal Reserve has given its stamp of approval for banks to custody Bitcoin. So pretty big news there, guys. And we did see a price move, beginning this Fed rate decision. We saw a pretty sharp decline. We went from about 104 down to 101,000 in a matter of minutes when the Fed rate decision came out. And by the end of this, we started climbing back clear above where we were to start the day out. So this was actually really good news to happen at the FOMC. Moving on, I do want to take you guys over to this. I saw this last night. It says Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht pardoned by Trump, loses 12 million, and you can't see that headline, loses 12 million on pump.fun. And my first reaction was, what an idiot, first of all. And second of all, where did this guy get $12 million? Because, and guys, I've been pretty supportive of Ross, but where did he get $12 million? Because when he was released from prison, people were crowdfunding and donating to this guy to help him coming out of prison. But 12 million seemed like pretty excessive considering crowdfunding, in my opinion. Turns out this wasn't as controversial as I first thought. What happened was somebody made a meme coin and named it after Ross. It was Ross coin or whatever. And they gave Ross Ulbricht, they donated like $15 million worth of this meme coin to Ross. And what he did was he went on Pump.Fun and tried to put 12 million of it into a liquidity pool for that meme coin, and did it wrong and ended up losing. Not only losing, but he actually sent that coin down pretty much 90%. So pretty much killed his own meme coin, which is a little hilarious in my book. Okay, so the next bit of news I just saw today, guys, and this is just kind of an opinion kind of thing, but this was a headline today. Ex-crypto king Sam Bankman-Fried reportedly shopping for a Trump pardon. He's looking for Trump to pardon him. And guys, I knew that people were saying that Trump was going to pardon SBF. I actually looked over on Polymarket several days ago, and you can see, guys, where is he? Right here. There is a 5% chance that Polymarket is saying that Sam Bankman-Fried will get a pardon from Trump in the first 100 days. Now that is actually up. That 5% is actually up in the last, since I saw it last. I don't know. I think I was looking at it last week. That's up from 4% the last time I saw it. But guys, this is insane. First of all, I don't think it even has a 5% chance of happening. Because if you guys remember, Sam Bankman-Fried, when he was running FTX, he was a heavy donator to a lot of Democrats, which is kind of what kicked off the last 4 years of the Biden administration and the Democrats really coming out hard against crypto. It was because Sam Bankman-Fried gave them a lot of money, and then it ended up really kind of screwing them over, putting them in a bad position, making them look like idiots. So for Trump to pardon somebody who favored the Democrats in a big way, I don't think that happens. However, that said, if it does happen, you better run for the hills, because if we are going to pardon the kind of fraud that Sam Bankman-Fried perpetuated, that's going to be a sign, guys. We will be in for trouble. That will signal really Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, Washington Mutual type of crash for crypto. But guys, make no mistake, like I said in the past, if that in fact happens, never forget, guys, that Bitcoin and decentralized finance really threatens the powers that be. It threatens the banks. It threatens a lot of people with a lot of power and influence and money. And so if anything happens, number one, the banks and the big centralized corporations that are too big to fail will definitely be bailed out by the government. That's first. But instead of them prosecuting their own, having the CEOs drug out into the streets and tried for what they've done fraudulently. This time will be different. Well, we've never really seen that, to be honest, but this time there'll be somebody else to point the finger at, and that'll be crypto. It was crypto's fault. Forget all the fraud that we did. This is a crypto problem. That'll happen if this is allowed to, if we go completely deregulated. Again, guys, I hate to harp on this, but Sam Bankman-Fried being pardoned would absolutely signal we're completely hands off on this, and do your fraud. Steal people's money. So anyways, guys, that is about it for kind of what happened this week. I do have something really quick I want to talk to you guys about. First of all, let me just say I love all of you guys, my viewers that have been around for a while. I really appreciate you guys. I say it every video. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me babble on about crypto. I hope I give you guys good information, and it's valuable to you, but I really appreciate it myself that you guys are taking the time to watch these videos. That said, there have been a few people that have watched my videos the last little bit, that have never commented on my videos before and are now coming out and saying who I should and shouldn't criticize, basically. Don't talk about the president like that. Stop complaining. Listen, if you're going to tell me who I can and can't criticize on my channel, and you want to go pretend that you're pro freedom and pro free speech, you can get out. This channel isn't for you. And I don't think the information that I help you guys out with, this isn't meant for you. So get out. If you're going to try and restrict my speech, get out. You'll see how quick I restrict speech in the comments of my videos, because you'll be deleted. And that goes for both sides. If you're going to come out, this hasn't been an issue in the past when I've been saying how bad Biden and the Democrats have been. It's all of a sudden, now that Trump's in power, we're seeing people come on my comments and tell me what I can't talk about. So, again, it goes for both sides, but it seems very one-sided, just how it is. So if that's you and you can't take it and you're going to come onto my channel and get your little snowflake feelings hurt by me criticizing any politician, guys. And listen, you poll any group of people, you go out and ask anybody if they think politicians are good people, if you think politicians are honest, if you think, and 99.9% of all people will say, no, we don't like politicians. Politicians aren't honest. So when I criticize politicians, I do so fairly evenly across the board. So if you get your feelings hurt over me criticizing your favorite side of the one-party system, just hold your tongue in the comments and get off my channel. This channel isn't for you. That said, for the rest of you guys, I love you all. I really appreciate you guys watching my videos, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.